All right, time to catch up with the busiest man in the USL Championship at the USL show at Kaylor Hodges. Good to see you, my friend, one more time before we turn the calendar to 2026.
It's good to see you. I mean, we got New Year's coming on up. I hope you had a great holiday season.
I got a cold from my brother-in-law. How about that?
I, that seems about right. It's all
Yeah.
about sharing and giving, and they
Yes.
never said what you share and give.
No, yeah, the season of giving, and he gave me and the boss his cold, and so yay to us. Yesterday on the morning show, before we got out, news came across, and I have to ask this in a singular sense and then in a collective sense. Philip Goodrum goes from Lou City to Lexington, and Lexington, looking at their roster, they're stacking up, folks. What did you think about the six-figure deal in the first place of Goodrum going from Lou to Lex? And then what is this saying about what Lexington is doing? Literally, it's like, is it Lexington SC Savings and Loan that's going on here? I mean, literally, it's like Scrooge McDuck all of a sudden with Lexington here.
I mean, horse money is more than we could ever fathom, to be honest. I mean, have you seen what those horses sell for? I mean, come on. I mean, how do they make that money? There's no way that's real. Either way, it's impressive what Lexington is building. It's not the first time we've seen them do this, though. We saw them do this in League One, where they were building what we thought was a super team. They were outspending, I believe it was 4 USL championship teams when they were down in League One. They finished in last. We have not, this is not unusual, and this is not me to say Lexington bad, but
Right.
this is not the first time we've seen them do this. You know, they signed Malloy on a inner record or an inner league transfer that broke the previous record, which was Philip Goodrum from Tulsa to Louisville. Now they add in Goodrum, who, with the kind of escalators that can happen with this, I'm assuming it's matches played and anything else, it can become the highest transfer in the history, already breaking Malloy, depending on what happens there. On top of that, they also got Arturo Ordonez, who he comes over from Lou City as already. There's a lot going on here, and Lexington continues to spend. And one thing I think is really fascinating, and I kind of mentioned it before, which is they did this back in League One. You would think that them doing this in League One and it failing so horrifically would scare them away from doing this again, and they just don't. They did it on the Super League side where they signed so many of the best players. I mean, they have Addie McCain and Amina Ekic in the same team. And they just continue to do stuff like this. And I know for a fact that there are general managers, there are directors of football, and that there are owners watching this very carefully. Because in conversations I've had with some directors of football, they have asked their owners, we need to spend more. We need to be able to compete. We need to be able to compete. We got to be able to compete. And they would tell them, and their owners would say, why would we spend $100,000 on buying players when we can spend $0 on buying players and make the same playoffs and host the same amount of home playoff games and get the same buy at the Apple? Mm-hmm. If you look at what, let's say, Chattanooga Red Wolves, they finished second. Where did Spokane finish last year, who outspent everybody in the league? Third. Yeah, Spokane made the final. You can see where that difference in talent comes from. But who had the better season? Chattanooga. They spent nothing. You saw Pittsburgh and FC Tulsa, two of the bottom 10 teams in the league in terms of wage budget. And I believe going into 2025, Tulsa had the lowest wage budget in the USL. They hosted a USL championship final. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of teams who are watching this very closely and saying, okay, if Lexington goes and smashes everybody, just absolutely kills everybody else, we'll start spending money. But even if Lexington wins the Players' Shield, but if it comes down to the last few matches and they're having to be really competitive to secure it, that may not be enough for owners to, loosen up the budget a little bit. So there's a lot of people watching this project really closely.
Yep. Sporting Jacks has started to sign players. We caught up with their coach, who is still working his way to this side of the Atlantic. And so we're seeing that build happening as well. What are the early returns that you're seeing from JAX?
Yeah, I mean, Neville is going to be the one that I think is going to, a lot of people are going to say, hey, I know his dad.
Yeah.
But Rito is definitely the big one. You have two fullbacks, you have your left and your right sorted out. Dita Armstrong is someone who's really impressed. And they have done what they've done on the women's side. They've gone local. They decided, hey, we're going to go to North Florida, the University of North Florida. They're going to look at somewhere who's going to be local, like a UCF, local-ish. And they're going to take from that talent that has been largely unexplored. And so it's nice to see that they're already spending. They're spending a little bit more on free agents than their women's team did. But it looks like they're already going to be building from that local talent pool. And it's working out amazingly for the women's side. Hopefully we'll see the same thing out of the Jacksonville side.
You mentioned Malloy. You've got Tampa signing MD Myers.
And
yeah,
everybody else.
Yeah. So, Tampa Bay, after what happened last season and them kind of being wandering nomads and trying to find a home and having a really rough season there. Mikey Maldonado to San Antonio, Mukwele Akale. And there's this Tormenta vibe that happens with a couple of transactions. Mukwele Akale to Lou City, and the other one was Mason Tunbridge to not a Miami FC, but the Miami FC. You end up with Daroma to Colorado Springs, Tingy to Oakland Roots, Arturo to Sacramento Republic. I mean, there's a lot of shifting that's gone on. Eric Dick, I think, was a part of the movement to Indy 11. There's a lot of stuff going on here in the offseason.
You mentioned Tampa Bay. I know for a fact this is another team that people are watching really closely. With Dom Casciato coming from League One, that League One, the championship move already kind of broke a soft glass ceiling, right? A League One coach getting a chance to coach at the championship level. And he said, I'm going to go with what I know. I'm getting a bunch of the best League One talent. I mean, Carson Interlong, if you haven't watched him, you should. He's one of the best that this league has to offer. You look at other guys have gone that way. Evan Conway, former League One. You have Austin Pack, who's going to be in the same locker room as Jamali Waite. That's going to be a fascinating goalkeeping room to pay attention to. Nathan DeSantos is going on there. Luis Perez is going to be a guy who's going to be a big deal. Pedro Dolabella, Marco Micheletto. You have so many great players. Sebastian Cruz, Learman. These are more players that have kind of cut their teeth down at the League One level. And guess who saw that? Dom Casciato saw that as they're coming up, and he's giving them their chance. They have gone full in on having this League One talent who maybe wouldn't have gotten opportunities in the past. And if it works, championship teams are going to say, okay, we're going to give this a shot. We're going to go after more League One talent. If it doesn't work, you might see those floodgates just go ahead, dam it up. We won't even deal with it anymore. That League One experiment didn't work. Overall, there's a lot of transfers that kind of catch your eye. You mentioned Tunbridge. You also see Arthur Rogers going to the Miami FC. Jurgen Locadia is a flashy name, but his career's kind of fallen off. But if he can regain half of what he could be and half of what he was, he's one of the best players in the league. That's fascinating for me to see. Going through, and I'm just kind of looking at things as I kind of go along. Arturo Rodriguez is a big deal. Sacramento had a rumor that Jack Gurr was also being bought by Lexington. Apparently that was not completely factual, but something to kind of keep an eye on. But I don't think that's going to result in anything. Maldonado, not just that. You also see Christian Pirano, Christian Sordo, Akeem Ward. Those are amazing signings for San Antonio, who had a surprisingly good year, who I did not think very highly of them coming into the season, and they just continue to add. There's a lot that I am kind of just generally looking around, but there's players who are available right now who I am fascinated to see where they go. Cal Jennings is going to be the big one. But for the Miami FC, Bonifilio that was down there, I think that he's not going to get a whole lot of love. But there's going to be a team that's going to sign him, and they are going to be extremely happy with the results that they see.
What's the latest of the players that were part of the dispersal at North Carolina? Are they finding homes? I'm not really seeing a whole lot of North Carolina guys being mentioned anywhere.
Yes and no. So, uh, just like we have to remind people with these kind of things, deals are being done, deals are done, but because of registration, because of other things, they can't announce that it's done, right?
Yeah.
It's the reason why Tom Bogert had announced that Malloy was going to Lexington, and we knew for like a week, but Lexington couldn't say anything because registration wasn't done.
Right.
There's a lot of North Carolina players who are being looked at very closely, as they should. That was a good team. The one player, Alex Anderson, I have word on where he's going, but it was contingent on one player coming and another player going and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out. But all I will say on the Alex side is that assuming nothing falls apart, the rich stay rich for him. So there's a lot of good players that you're going to see just kind of land around from that North Carolina side. The one that I think I'm interested to see which road he goes on is a Birmingham talent, which is Jaden Cervania.
Yeah.
Because he's someone who is fantastic at the League One level, was really good at the championship level, but never really felt like he could get his footing underneath him. If there's a team that's willing to give him 90s week in, week out, I think you could see him turn into that, not that like best tier of player in the USL, but someone who you're very happy with being in your squad. So I'm really interested to see where he kind of ends up.
Okay, since I went down the North Carolina road, franchise ins and outs. Out is North Carolina. Out is Loudoun, correct? They're going League Two. Is that correct?
No. Loudoun has started a League
Started
Two.
League Two. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so they still exist. They are still around, technically coachless.
Yes.
Technically, but ignore the fact that Alan Marcina is their scouting director. That means nothing. That's a coincidence.
Yes. And Ryan Martin is now in Oakland and
correct,
taking over Roots. New coach officially in Pittsburgh, correct?
Yes. Rob Vincent has been officially announced, where that, I mean, I think most people saw that one coming, as it should have. No real word on officially what happened with Bob Lilly, but and while I do think the Pittsburgh fans deserve a little bit of clarification on it, that's someone who's an absolute legend for them.
Yeah.
I also think that, use your brain, you can probably figure out what happened. This is not a Ron Yan situation in FC Cincinnati where he got caught singing a song and said a word he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
It's Bob Lilly. Use your imagination. You don't have to think that hard.
Yeah.
You can also say that the team played freer. They played more lively. They were the best they have looked in a long, long time. The moment he wasn't there anymore, Rob Vincent is going to be a great coach for them. Now, I am going to be fascinated how Pittsburgh handles this, though, because are they going to continue acting like the Tampa Bay Rays, where they say we can spend less than you and get better results than you because we're just so much smarter than you? Bob Lilly can make your coal into diamonds. Okay. Or are they going to open up the pocketbook and say, hey, maybe Rob Vincent isn't the same talent evaluator that Lilly is? Maybe he doesn't see those diamonds in the rough. Maybe he can, but maybe they don't know that. They can't guarantee that. Let's open up the pocketbooks and give him some real deal talent. We'll see.
Robbie Mart's also signing a 2-year deal recently, and we are tracking Robbie down for an appearance here on the morning show. What's the latest in Birmingham? You only won 5 out of 30 last year for Legion. 12 losses, 12 draws, 5 wins. What's the latest?
The biggest one, there's one goalkeeper in Birmingham, and it is not who you think it is. That will be Trevor McMullen right now, as they announce that that Fernando Delgado is not going to be returning to the club, likely just looking for chances elsewhere. Matt Van Oekel not officially announced to be coming back yet, which he's going to be around in some capacity. He either as a coach or just living in Birmingham.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's the last you see him in VO, but definitely looks like the changing of a guard. You see Jake Roof disappear from the club, Enzo Martinez leaving from the club. Uh, Moses Mensah makes way down to South Georgia Tormenta, where he rejoins Mark McKeever,
Mm-hmm.
where McKeever. So Mensah is one of two people who kind of followed McKeever around,
Right.
where Mensah followed him from Des Moines down to One Knox, and then he goes to Birmingham. Mensah does, and then he joins him again in South Georgia Tormenta. The only person who's probably been around him more is Jordan Bell, who's been with him for every step of the way. Who Jordan Bell just might be Mark McKeever's son. I don't know. I can't prove it, but I am going from Mississippi Bria to Des Moines Menace to One Knox, then going down to Tormenta on his own. Baby Bird finally gets to spread his wings, and Mark McKeever says, maybe if I become the head coach, we'll see. But it's interesting what South Georgia Tormenta is doing. But Legion is getting a decent little overhaul, and it's been not a quiet secret that the locker room had just kind of gone stale in Birmingham. So if Mark Briggs feels like he found the root of the issues, then maybe it's an addition by subtraction situation where maybe the talent that's being brought in, if any talent is being brought in, there is a player being brought in, but still not to the level of, well, Lexington, Tampa Bay, teams like that. If it's not, maybe the level of talent is not shocking people, but the core is good enough that if the locker room is also good, I think that Legion fans can expect a significant bounce.
Teams that are being added in this year, and correct me once again if I mess any of this up, it's just Brooklyn and Jacksonville that are coming in this season, correct?
Yes, that's all this season.
Championship side. Atletico Dallas is making a lot of inroads with all of their gear. They're not coming in yet. Milwaukee, Reno, Santa Barbara pushed themselves back a year, OKC, and Iowa. Then to League One, and you look at what Coach Fuller was able to do in Knoxville and get a championship. Then you look at the rest of the league. You mentioned Tormenta with a lot of stuff going on. The irony alert with McKeever and Knoxville and Tormenta here. What are the early returns for you that you've seen out of League One so far in the offseason?
Knoxville, I'm concerned about Knoxville. I got to be honest with you. Maybe they feel like they're the smartest people in the room.
Okay,
but they let go of what feels like most of their starters. I mean, Sean Lewis, Angelo Kelly Rosales, they got Ogley heading out. Tequila makes his way over to Union Omaha, who Tequila was in conversations of being the best number 10 in the league for me. He was right behind Luis Heel, which is big props to him.
Yeah.
That mentioned Ogley. I think Mark Doyle, I think went down to Tormenta. Stuart Ritchie's getting calls. Callum Johnson. These are great players. And yes, they have a good core behind them. Goaling is solid. Rosamilia has been good. Jordan Skelton is the defender of the year. But other than that, it's a lot of not question marks, but they're losing a lot of bona fide players. And it's not like they're getting moves up to the championship and that's when they let them go.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Lewis is in Statesboro.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Tequila's gone to Union Omaha. It's not that they got outbid. They didn't offer. So I'm concerned, not saying that One Knox is going to fold and they're cheapening out.
Yeah.
But I do think that they think they're just kind of smarter than everybody else and they think they can just develop the talent and say, we can just do it again with lesser guys. I don't think so. I don't think it's that easy. I'm a little concerned on that front. And when I'm looking at Naples, I'm liking the early returns, but who they lose is big.
Yeah.
Serrano is an interesting one. Perpa is a big one. You see Enderlong, who goes on a transfer. That's a huge loss. Breck Evans, Chris Heckenberg. Those are big losses. Jake Dingler, big losses.
Yeah.
Interested to see how they kind of fix those holes, especially they have in the spine. Taylor Gray's a good start over on the wings, but I'm really interested to see how they rebuild the spine of that team.
Yeah, and you're having a banner year of introductions in League One. We've been following AC Boise, and we got the chance to kind of get the curtain pulled back about how they got their kit design all figured out. We caught up with the coach and the staff at AC Boise. Looking forward to that. And you've got that natural rivalry in the Pacific Northwest that's instantaneously developed. You're adding in Corpus Christi. Greenville has both a technical, a GM and a head coaching change for the Triumph coming in as they're getting ready to go into their new barn. Cosmos, who are not in New York, but playing in New Jersey, I believe, that they're coming online this season. You mentioned Naples, Fort Wayne coming online. It's the second season of Portland Hearts of Pine. Can P-Hop regenerate what they did in season number 1? I think that's the question there. Sarasota comes online, and I believe that's the first match for Boise, if I'm not mistaken, is the road game in Sarasota on March the 7th. And then you look at, a team like Westchester, who is at the bottom of the table. What are they doing in year number 2? Are they just slow and steady wins the race? I mean, right now you're looking at, if my math is right, it's what? It's an 18-team League One, which is the most they've ever had. That's a lot of teams coming online.
It is. Fort Wayne and Corpus Christi are interesting to me. Same thing with Sarasota as well. 3 teams who cut their teeth at the League 2 level.
Yeah.
So while Sarasota signing players, and they're signing really, really good players, but Corpus Christi and Fort Wayne haven't officially signed anybody yet, but they have a pool that they can already pull from anyway. Great players that they can just kind of pull up from their League 2 team who are kind of on the cusp anyway. They can kind of give them a shot. So their roster fill is going to be a little bit easier. AC Boise, they have Nate Miller. I don't know what you want me to say. I trust anything that he does. If you tell me Nate Miller's in charge, sure, man. You could run me out there, and I feel like I could get you a point or two. That's how much I believe in Nate Miller, not in myself. But I'm interested to see how these roster construction go. The not in New York Cosmos, they're bringing in players. They're bringing in players that I like, but how many of them are still with working legs, right? Sebastian Guinzotti was kind of the big one. Like, look at this. Look at who he signed. How much does he have left in him? You look at someone like Ajmir Spengler. He was good for Texoma. He was a shining star in Texoma. How low is that bar?
Yeah.
I'm interested. They're bringing in a lot of local talent, which I do like. So maybe this is talent that I just don't really know about, because I got to be honest with you. I'm not out there scouting college kids. I don't have time.
Come on.
So, I know I don't have the love of the game, but I'm interested to see how that kind of works and how they're going to work within that. I'm very fascinated, but we see a lot of teams who haven't really made moves yet, but I'm not really sure if that's going to be because they have a pool they're ready to announce, but they can't announce for various reasons, or if they're waiting to see what happens through the first dominoes that fall. Are they waiting to shift through what's going on here and say, okay, what's kind of left? Oop, here's a gym, here's a gym, here's a gym. Why go for what's on top when you can make a competitive team who can still make the playoffs and not spend as much money and not have to deal with the competitive, this team's offering me this team's offering me this team's offering me this. I don't know.
Sarasota, just to give folks an idea, signing Chandler O'Dwyer for the midfield, Anderson Rosa for the back line, Andres Rodriguez for the midfield. Callum Stretch was an interesting one on defense.
Great one
that they picked up there for Sarasota as well. When you look back at 25, was there something, I guess, let's take it this way. biggest surprise, biggest disappointment, and you can take it league at a time, or you can blend championship and League One together. Was there a biggest surprise and a biggest disappointment for you in the USL last year?
The biggest surprise for me was Westchester. We were just so certain that they were going to be great.
Yeah.
We looked at the team and we said too good to fail. We thought they were the third best team in League One before the season started.
Wow.
And their offense was awesome. Their attacking wingbacks were amazing. Unfortunately, those attacking wingbacks didn't do the defensive part of the back. Get back there, please, for the love of God, defend. Towards the end of the year, they started doing that, but it was a little too late.
Yeah.
That was a really big shock for me. I was very surprised that they kind of fell the way that they did with the talent that they brought in. I'm hoping that this year with a new coaching staff that they're going to be able to shake some things out. Greenville was also a massive surprise to me. I love what they had on paper. I really like the coaching staff, but nothing just ever seemed to truly click, and I don't really know why. Hopefully that'll get going. On the championship side, I feel like there was not a ton of surprises for me other than Orange County, who I thought was the best team in the West last year. And they finally – the matches where they were right, they were the best team in the West, but they were rarely right. So that was a surprise for me, but I like the teams that they brought back. The biggest – I'm just trying to think it through anybody else that really shocked me. Mm-hmm. Either way, the biggest surprises, biggest disappointments, not really. I feel like for the most part, Lexington kind of did their thing last year where they brought in 75 players or something, and they didn't make the playoffs. But also Lexington kind of built that reputation already. Mm-hmm. So it didn't shock you. You just kind of laughed. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was chalk. I mean, no one would have said FC Tulsa versus Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the USL final was chalk. No, that's not the case. But it didn't shock me that they were in the playoffs. It just shocked me of where they finished. All the players kind of shifted out where you thought they would be, where all the teams did.
Looking, and you mentioned Westchester, and I'm staring at this roster as they have it posted. Forwards, J.C. Obregon, Prince Saidi, Johnny Bolaños at forward. You've got folks like Connor McGlynn and Joel Johnson in the midfield. Defense, Kamar Lawrence, Noah Powder, Andrew Jean-Baptiste, and Josh Drack. I mean, that's some names that you can play with there.
McGlynn was great when he was right. The Noah, Sammy Powder were awesome. Mm-hmm. Stephen Payne, someone who I have close to my heart, Birmingham native. Shout out to my guy.
There you go.
But I mean, you like what you see. One Obregon wins Golden Boot, second player to finish last in their respective league and win Golden Boots. The other one was, he was at Orange County. He won it a few years ago. Milan.
Yeah,
Milanowski. So okay. He's the only other one. So I don't know. You look at the attacking talent and you make yourself believe, but we did this last year. And so they're officially on my, I won't believe in you until you give me a reason.
So they're Missouri to you, basically.
They're a little bit of Missouri, yeah.
They're show me. I get it. What is the latest with at the USL show? Where are you guys right now, and what plans are you plotting for 26?
Well, we're kind of plotting plans for tomorrow, which is the 31st, also known as CBA Deadline Day.
Yes.
So while everybody else is waiting for the ball to drop on the new year, we are going to have a show, and we're going to see if anything happens. We're going to go live and talk about the ramifications of what the CBA running out could mean, what it doesn't mean, what all these things mean for everything, because are we going to see an ECHL moment of the owners bend the knees to the players when they realized the pocketbook was hurt, or will the players have to concede because the owners don't have to deal with the match for another 3 months? I don't know. And I'm really fascinated to see how it works out. If someone scabs, if someone breaks through the lockout, how will they be treated by their teammates? I don't know. Will contracts that have already been signed but not announced, will they be put on hold? Will they be voided? I don't know.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about all that tomorrow night. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're not going to go live until deadline time. Maybe we will. I don't think we will, but we could. But we're going to try to break it all down of what the lockout actually means.
Okay. And that's why we like to have you up to break everything down for us and be our tour guide when it comes to everything going on in the USL, when it comes to Championship, League One, and etc. As always, my friend, great to see you. Thanks for dropping by to lead us into CBA Day for those who celebrate, or for those who may not celebrate, depending on what the outcome is going to be. You know that we'll be knocking on your door soon, especially if something happens that we need to talk about after CBA Day. So be safe. Have a great holiday coming up. Hopefully we won't have to talk to you again Friday after CBA Day when we're into 26. We'll catch up with you soon, my friend. Great to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks.